Today we're gathering around the campfire with Patricia, a QHS member whose life is as exciting and grounding as a hike through the mountains. But what trails did she tread to reach these heights? Let's trek into the wilderness and discover the adventures that led Patricia to where she is today.
Hi, my name's Pat Druckman, and I'm doing my prequel. And the first questions were about my background. I grew up in New England, and my ancestors were mostly from the British Isles, Scotland, England, Ireland. I did get a touch, maybe 10 or 12% of sub-Saharan African. Not sure how that happened, but our ancestors were sea captains for the most part. And when they came over from the British Isles, they kind of landed in Maine and on the coast of Maine. And a number of them carried lumber and other types of cargo from Canada, eastern Canada, down to Boston and to seaports along the east coast of the United States. I was the youngest of 5 kids, and so I had a very idyllic, fun childhood, but I'll hold off on that and talk about my dad. He met my mom in North Carolina when he was in basic training, preparing to enter the World War II efforts in Europe. And he grew up on a dairy farm, and she also grew up on a little farm. She lost her dad when she was very young, and they were very poor in the South. But they fell in love, they got married before he was deployed to Europe, and he parachuted into occupied France. I got to tell you a funny story. My father was quite nearsighted, and the paratroopers were supposed to have excellent 20/20 vision. So he memorized the eye chart. And back then, every eye chart was identical. So you could actually do that and get away with it. You can't do it today, but he did it. And that's how he was able to get into the paratroopers. He survived the war, which was really remarkable because so many young men didn't. He came home, he used the GI Bill, and he got into Cornell Law School. And he graduated from Cornell and came back to New Hampshire, and he worked with his uncle who had been a co-founder of the local Savings and Loan Association. So he did a lot of real estate work. Anyway, I was the youngest of 5, and I had an idyllic childhood until the early 60s when my mom took sick with cancer, and she passed with cancer in 1963. The same year that we lost President Kennedy. And, from that experience, I became sort of shy, withdrawn, isolated. I felt we did a very strong commitment and support from our local church. We'd been members and going to our local church for all our lives. So that was very fortunate. And I think because of that experience with my mom passing at such a young age, I became very interested in spiritual matters and the work of Edgar Cayce in particular when I was in my young teens. I also was interested in alternative teaching, and myself and several friends and parents and members of our church started an alternative high school. And I graduated from that. It was a very good experience. I even taught a class in psychic phenomena and developing your psychic powers. And I went to college, got a degree in medical technology. I moved out west to Arizona, and I'd met my husband in New Hampshire. He sort of got me interested in going out west, and we got married. We have a daughter. She's 37 now, and she lives in Los Angeles and has a passion for theater. So all's good on that part. But in terms of my career, I worked for a number of years in hospital laboratories because my undergraduate degree was medical technology. And then I wanted to transition into business, so I got my MBA, and I ended up working in finance and financial planning, and that's where I'm still at today, doing that sort of work, along with compliance and auditing, whatnot. Well, I joined QHS right in almost the beginning of it, May of 22, because it was sort of a logical extension of my interest in Edgar Cayce's work, and my background and original career path was medical technology. And so I wanted to do whatever I could to bring forth these new medical technologies that will have a fundamental shift in holistic healing. And on a personal note, I enjoyed really good health through most of my adult life. It was when I became, like in my mid to late 60s, that I started developing some health challenges, and that was osteoarthritis in my hips, degenerative disc disease in my lower back, and leaky gut. I tried a number of alternative modalities and healing techniques that included platelet-rich plasma being spun out and injected into my right hip, a functional medicine doctor that's helping me with the leaky gut, changing my diet, using supplements that address the leaky gut problem, and just recently stem cells I had injected in my right hip. And I find I'm getting some relief there as I wait for the QArc, which I'm excited to see bring forth at the end of this year or early next year. The skills I think I've developed in the challenges that I face with my health are researching alternative modalities and patience and wisdom in handling, something that's out of my control to some extent. So in looking at what I would like to see on my own personal health from top to bottom, I'd start with my head, my eyes. I'm developing cataracts, my gums and teeth. I'm, like most people my age, I have receding gum lines, and that's going to be a problem going forward. My osteoarthritis in both hips, I'd like healed. My leaky gut, my GI problems, I'd like resolved. My degenerative disc problems in my lower back, I'd love to see that healed as well. And the loose skin that comes with being in your early 70s, I mean, who wouldn't like that as well? So that's it. My outlook is positive. I'm a very optimistic person, and post QArc, what I'd like to see is my world filled with humanitarian endeavors, with helping other people through the healing modalities that will be released in the very near future. So I think we have a very bright future, and I look forward to being part of QHS's growth and the initial release of the QArc. Thank you.
Join us on the Prequel, where every story matters and every voice is heard. Because here at QHS, we're all about healing, learning, and growing together.